I think Korean food is overrated.
There's even like police officers with like guns because something happened. I'm not really sure.
Someone was killed in the town. Are you okay with getting a little bit vulnerable on camera, Vanessa? These takes are gonna get really spicy because...
Stop saying that.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Wanderlust Woman podcast, your favorite podcast covering everything relating to travel. I'm your host, Wanderlust Woman, but call me Noah, and this is...
Vanessa.
That's right, and today we have a really fun topic, which is going to be going over unpopular travel opinions. So this can be things that are maybe like we think are overrated, things that we think are underrated, things that we just feel like the talk in the verdicts and opinions online are different to our own. So this will be fun. There'll be some hot, spicy takes and definitely controversy and maybe a little bit of arguing, although we usually see eye to eye on these things. But first, we're going to go over some locations, some that are going to be overrated or underrated. And the first location is going to be... No, I know, I'm kidding.
Waikiki.
Waikiki, yeah. So if you don't know, if you're living under a rock, Waikiki is a part of Oahu, Hawaii that gets a lot of online hate because they say it's like a concrete jungle, it's only tourists, it's very unauthentic and like touristy and tacky. But what is our take?
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
All of
you're
you are
right.
wrong.
You're right, but it's not that simple. So it makes it a lot easier to move around in Waikiki if you're a tourist, especially if you don't have a car. It was actually really convenient staying in Waikiki.
I agree. Waikiki is a place where if all you do is stay there, you're really lame and you're having like in my opinion, like an embarrassingly touristic vacation where you're not getting out there to see the real Hawaii. But for what it is, like Vanessa was saying, it's super convenient. It's like a mini little micro city within Hawaii. So if you don't have a car, it's perfect because you can walk to like restaurants, the beach, do some shopping, grocery stores if you're staying there for longer. There's lots of buses there that take you to other areas. So it's a good like hub to go and explore from. But yeah, it's definitely touristy, but it definitely has a lot of perks. And I personally would recommend people to stay in Waikiki if you don't have a car and you just want like a really good home base. So... anything else to add to that?
I think you said it all.
Said it all? Yeah. So Waikiki, it is not just a place that is terrible. It definitely has its merits, and I would recommend staying there for all the reasons we just outlined, including, of course, Waikiki Beach, because Waikiki Beach is not just like a beach that happens to be there for tourists that sucks. It's actually a really good beach.
Yeah. It's really pretty, and if you go down to Queens Beach, there's snorkeling, so...
yeah, the
pretty views.
Yeah, you get great views of Diamond Head in the distance, which is really pretty. The water is really pretty as well. It's a great beginner beach for surfing. They even have like a little portion of the ocean which is walled off like with these little barriers so that you can like swim really easily, which is great as well. And it's an incredibly long beach too, so there's plenty of space. You can play volleyball.
Not if you want like to only just be by yourself.
Of course. Yeah, if you want to go to a hidden remote beach, this is not going to be the place. No. But it's not going to be like one of those beaches where you show up there and you're like, ugh, why did I come here?
Yeah.
Unless, again, you just want, like, a hidden paradise all to yourself.
Yeah, and it's also not really, like, there's not really people playing, like, loud music. It's not like a party beach.
No. There's some places...
yeah. Some people are just there, mostly to sunbathe, I think, and take their kids there because they have a safe area.
Yeah, it's great for families. It's great for independent people. It's great to make friends as well. There's a lot of meetup events, and, like, you can have, like, little picnics on the beach. There's restaurants just across the street, so it's super convenient.
Volleyball?
Yeah, beach volleyball is another thing that they have there. And there's like parks nearby if you want to like show like a barbecue. So yeah, Waikiki. And there's also lots of ethnic food there too. Bless you. Should I just keep on talking? Or no?
Yeah, go for it.
God, I told you not to sneeze during productions. No, but...
okay.
Forgot you. But there's also lots of little hidden gems in Waikiki. Like there's small little like restaurants that maybe not a lot of people visit. There's little hole-in-the-wall bars. Like remember that little izakaya right next to our Airbnb?
Yeah.
You also have that like the Alawai, which is like that stream that has like a nice walking path along it with some nice views of the mountains. Mm-hmm. Yeah, plenty of good cafes and coffee shops. So I could really talk about Waikiki for a long time. So it really is not just like a piece of crap tourist spot. It is really cool and a good place to stay. So moving on to another destination. Somewhere else that I think gets too much hate online, unwarranted, but I understand why. Kind of similar to Waikiki in this way. You know what it's going to be?
Tulum.
Tulum, Mexico, which is the first country that we visited, or well, we visited Canada, but this was like our first big travel destination that we did together outside of America. We stayed there for a month, and it was already popular. I think since then, it's coming, guys.
I know. Sorry.
It's okay, man.
I don't think it's coming. Yeah.
We'll see. Just as soon as you start talking,
yeah.
it'll come. But yeah, we went in 2021. Yeah, fall of 2021.
Yep.
So it was definitely popular. It wasn't like a hidden gem, but I don't think it's quite as blown up as it is nowadays. But what is your general like idea of what opinions are online about Tulum?
I think people say that it's overrated, touristy, very expensive.
Superficial.
Yeah.
Instagram influencers.
Dangerous.
That's another one, yeah.
Yeah, super Instagram influencer.
Yeah, like a really,
vibe.
yeah, really inauthentic, like bougie. People just going there to like show off, take pictures, party, and yeah, just like that kind of feeling. I think pretty much encapsulates it. But how does our own opinion and experience differ from the one that is propagating online?
Everything that people say, we feel the exact opposite. Like, I didn't think it was, like, dangerous. I didn't feel... I mean, like, the first few days we were kind of like, oh, let's be cautious.
Yeah, we're always getting home, like, before dark.
Yeah, but then we learned, like, that was kind of ridiculous. Like, it wasn't dangerous. It didn't feel dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
There was even, like, police officers with, like, guns because something happened. I'm not really sure.
Someone was killed in the town. And that's why they had, like, the police tape and then, like, when the businesses was closed. Because it happened right outside downtown. Yeah.
But I didn't mind it.
Didn't happen to us, so must be safe.
I didn't mind seeing like the police officers there.
I didn't mind what happened. Heartless.
No,
I'm
that
kidding.
sounds so bad.
No, I know what you meant. But that's how it came across.
I felt really safe and protected, is what I'm saying, with the police officers there.
Yeah, because you can look at it two ways. You can either be like, oh man, there are police officers walking around with like guns, or people in the back of trucks with guns. I'm in a really dangerous place. Or you can be like, oh man, they're taking things seriously and they're trying their best to like limit the negative influence of like these things, because it can happen. Like we lived in Chicago, and obviously like we know Chicago is a place with a lot of crime, but it wasn't really as blatant in Tulum. My understanding is a lot of it's relating to like illegal drugs, because some people try to sell drugs there, and then you're kind of stepping on someone else's turf, or you buy from someone where you're not supposed to. So as long as you like kind of stay out of trouble and you don't do anything like really seedy. And yeah, if you're a big nightlife person, you want to consider that as well. But we are not as big nightlife people at this moment in our lives, so we didn't really come across anything that made us feel like in danger. And walking around at night in the town didn't really feel sketchy at all.
We even like walked through, like not the main streets, like we're in the back streets, and it was really chill. It was really fine.
Yeah.
Hardly saw anyone. Just don't do drugs.
Yeah. Stay in dare, everybody. Lifelong dare. But yeah, and just always have like your wits about you and your street smarts. Any country, any city you go.
Yeah.
Just look over your shoulder.
Just have common sense.
Be aware of your surroundings. Don't be like too like don't show off too much or wear really expensive clothing and like.
Which I don't think we have done that in any of the places that we've traveled to.
No.
Like we dress really casual. Like I feel like people are like, can they even afford to be here?
Yeah. And it's Tulum where it's like really hot too.
Yeah. And
like you're going to be really active because there's lots of amazing things to do. And you definitely don't want to like be wearing like a suit or anything like that in public.
I don't know, maybe I was gonna wear a suit,
but anyway, so that being said, like besides just the safety element, do you think Tulum is like a really fun, interesting, cool place to visit?
Definitely.
Yeah, that kind of softball set you up for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like so people think about. I'm trying to think about previous conceptions of Tulum. You think you just maybe go to like these beach clubs, go to these expensive restaurants. You have to like pay to enter the beach, and it's just like really touristic. You know, nothing authentic. How does our own experience differ from that?
But we didn't pay to enter the beach.
Yeah, you can enter the beaches for free in Tulum.
Yeah.
If you go to the North Beaches.
And if you ride your bike there, I mean, I don't know, depending on where you're staying, you could either walk or ride your bike if you're a little further. It's super easy, convenient. You don't have to worry about parking. The beaches are like really nice. Like we went there for a sunrise, and there are people, like employees, raking the sand to just make sure that you get like the best experience like there with the sand and nice and soft. And
yeah,
I guess I didn't need to say all that, but anyway.
No, it's good to know.
The beaches are beautiful, so gorgeous, and the water's so warm, and you're not really gonna see like fish and stuff. But
the reefs are pretty far away from shore.
Yeah.
In this part of Tulum,
yeah.
at least.
But the water is like not scary water. It's not like waves are crashing. It's so smooth.
Yeah, there's some waves that you can have fun with, but it's not anything like that would stop you from swimming.
Yeah.
It actually has a fun element, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So the beaches, you can get free access if you go to the north. If you go to the south, those are the ones that are kind of like monopolized by the hotels and beach clubs, and then you can get like the extortionate fees to go to these places, and then it kind of feels tacky. But if you go to the north part of the Tulum beaches, you're good there. And yeah, so like, but people, when they think about staying in Tulum, they think of staying in the hotel zone, which is about those beach clubs, expensive hotels, really bougie, like these really like cute antique places, but like scaling the prices to like an extortionate amount. So where should you stay and try and explore more of, in your opinion?
The downtown area, I think.
Me too. Tulum Central.
I actually, because we were biking through the hotel zone, I did get like kind of anxious.
It's kind of a nightmare down there.
Yeah, there's so many cars. The traffic was bad. There's like people yelling at you like, "Hey, park here," or whatever, even though we're on bikes.
The big traffic pileups.
Yeah.
The road conditions are really crappy too.
Yeah. Well, it just like rained when we went there too, so there's like puddles everywhere and potholes.
Yeah.
But if you stay downtown, you have a sidewalk.
It's very walking and biking friendly.
Yeah. There's like traffic lights, so you don't have to like run for your life. I
Yeah.
mean, kind of a little bit. Because
you gotta.
the traffic lights are so short. But no, I really liked staying downtown. We stayed like right off of the main road.
Yeah. Something. Osiris Norte. That's the name of the street. I don't remember the exact.
How do you remember?
It's in my head somehow. But yeah, a really good area, and it still has like the Tulum feeling, where you can go to the boho chic like restaurants.
Yeah.
They still have really pretty hotels, but it definitely feels more of like not like completely authentic, but like an actual town, a functional town for locals and tourists alike. There's great restaurants there. It's extremely walkable, like you said. There's a green lane in the sidewalk just for bikes, and there's like a walkway.
The tourists walk on it though.
Yeah.
And you have to get like. I remember being like, what did I even say?
Con
I yelled
permiso,
at, yeah, I
con
was like, con
permiso.
permiso, and then
She's
like people were like
"Excuse
not
me."
moving. I was like, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then they like turned, and I was like,
But yeah, compared to other places that we'll talk about later, it definitely is really like a functional town that's good for like walking around and exploring, which is really nice. And yeah, besides that, of course, you have the cenotes, which are amazing to visit as well. You can like ride your bikes to some of them, which isn't the best thing to do sometimes because the roads are like kind of.
you're like on the side of a highway.
Yeah, it's a little sketchy.
Not sketchy. Like no one's gonna hit you.
I know, but not.
Just you have to keep in mind like semis and stuff are gonna like pass you.
It'd be nice to have a separate sidewalk next to it for pedestrians or bikers.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I do think that it's going to continue to grow, and they'll probably implement those like later in the future. But when we went, I mean.
Yeah, it's just like the demand for tourism and the infrastructure. It has to like catch up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it a lot more than Playa del Carmen too. Where like I was debating heavily between like Playa del Carmen or Tulum because of these different reasons and things I've heard online. I definitely would recommend Tulum, especially the Tulum Centro. I think like the Tulum people complain about is just mostly the hotel zone. Yeah. So don't beat yourself there if you're worried about that.
You're right on the beach, but also like you're kind of separated from everything.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like stuck in that little area unless you have a rental car.
In the hotel zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're like staying downtown, you have the option of staying like near everything, like grocery stores, restaurants,
the bus hub if you want to go to other places,
colectivos, all of that.
Colectivo stops.
But if you're in the hotel zone, you have your hotel and you have the beach.
Yeah, it's good for people that just want like a really expensive kind of like resorty vacation.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're kind of isolated, and if you stay in the Tulum like downtown, you can take your bike to all these different areas. It might be a little bit longer, like 30 to 40 minutes to bike to the hotel zone, depending on how fast of a biker you are. Depends how fast you are. It could be 20, 30. Normally it took us about 15, 20 minutes to get to the beach. And I think the hotel zone's like a bit south of that. So it's like 10, 15. So it depends on how fast you're biking. Yeah. And then you can easily bike to the beach, like I just said, 15, 20 minutes. And it's really nice. And there's lots of pretty stops along the way. And there's just so much I could talk about for Tulum, why I love it. Yeah. And why it is like an amazing place. Top travel destination. You have the ruins to visit, so you get the history. Plenty of day trips, the beaches, the food scene is unbelievably good.
Yes.
You can get some of it's overpriced, but some of it's like expensive maybe by Mexican standards, but you can easily get like a good meal just for $5.
Yeah.
Really delicious.
We ate at like 30 restaurants, I think. We were there for a month. Like, I'm not exaggerating, 30 restaurants.
Yeah.
Some of them multiple times. And we ate really good because I gained 5 pounds in that month.
While we were riding our bikes every day in the sun.
Yeah.
So.
But the locals were so friendly too.
True.
I don't think we met anyone that was not very friendly.
No, and they spoke really good English, which
Yeah.
is good in case you're like nervous about that for like a first time sort of destination. Tulum's a really good first time travel destination, I think,
Definitely.
for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
And and it's like exotic enough too, where it doesn't feel like super tacky. You can like still see the Mayan ruins and all that sort of thing, like infused with the culture still.
Yeah.
So moving on, we have another location. We're going place by place by place for now. This is a place that it's kind of similar to Tulum in some ways because it's very like boho chic. It has like a really famous food scene. A lot of digital nomads go there. This is a place called Canggu, which is in Bali, which if you're potentially going to visit Bali, like the two places that always come up are going to be Canggu or Ubud. Ubud is like the cultural center. It's like has like a monkey forest, that sort of thing. But Canggu is like the hotspot. It's the expat place, the digital nomad community, and people seem to love it. And like a lot of people are moving there and saying, "Man, my life's been so amazing since I went to Canggu. I never want to leave Canggu." Mm-hmm. But our opinion differs. Yeah.
It?
Well, I think Canggu should be burnt to the ground. No, I'm kidding. not like that. But I do think that Canggu it has some benefits, but overall, would I recommend like visiting it over any other place in Bali? I would not. For a multitude of reasons. I think it's a cool place maybe to stop by for a few days, or if you're living there for a long time and you want to like just like work, it's a place for you. But as an overall tourist, just want to visit and have like amazing lifelong memories, it's not the place. And there's a few reasons, including one. Do you want to cover one of the topics? Let's start with the beach.
Okay, so the beach is not that like beautiful blue that you think of when you think of Bali.
For the water, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just like a party area that people go to, and it's a surfing beach.
Yep.
So if you're not gonna surf,
or go to
the
beach
water's
clubs.
not really like beautiful enough for you to be like, oh, I need to go in.
And it's very wavy too.
Yeah.
So it's not like easy for swimming.
And then the sand there, it was kind of.
It's a black sand beach.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, but not like that beautiful black volcanic sand. It's kind of like
Oh.
a dark brown-ish black sand.
Okay, well, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But also there's like stuff in the sand, like it's not like super clean because it's a party beach.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't love the beach there. I was kind of like really sad. So I was like, oh, cool, we could just walk like 15 minutes to the beach and have a beach day and blah, blah, blah. But I did not get into the water at all.
You didn't, not even once. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's a good point. Because the reason why Canggu kind of caught our attention, besides all the online hype, is I'm like, oh, this is going to be like a beach town. So what we see in Canggu for a month, like, oh, this is going to be our beach sort of stay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing Ubud, which is like the rice fields and more like towards the mountains and waterfalls. So completely different vibes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't really like fit that quota for us for being like a gorgeous beach. It did have beach town vibes, but like Vanessa said, it wasn't the best quality beach for swimming and hanging out and just enjoying it as like a functional beach in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was a 15-20 minute walk, but it wasn't like you can definitely walk there, but it doesn't feel like it was made for walking. And this is my next complaint about Canggu is the walkability. Which do you have anything to add to that?
The sidewalks are. It seems like it's mostly for scooters to park.
Yeah, mostly for scooters to park, and yeah, I agree.
And then they're not really. What?
No, just keep it going. I'm just gonna add on to what you say.
How do you know what I want to say?
No, I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm just. Is that it? Are you done? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I've been watching the podcast back, and I know sometimes I bulldoze and interrupt Vanessa a little bit. That's because I know what I'm gonna say, and I'm trying to help her out. Which now you see why. But
I had coffee, so I feel like it just kicked in, so I'm like.
The jitteriness.
Yeah.
But because what you were saying, it's built for scooters. Because I went to go surf, and my surf instructor is like, "Oh, so where's your scooter?" I'm like, "I walked." And then he's like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Do you walk?" And like, "How close do you live to the beach?" He's like, "I live like 5 minutes away walking." And I'm like, "Well, do you walk?" He's like, "No." It's like, people in Bali will scooter if it's a 2-minute walk because it'll be a 10-second scooter ride. So it just shows like the kind of mentality and like the culture. And I think Canggu is, representative of that. So it's walkable, but it doesn't feel very like walking friendly. It's just kind of like hectic a little bit, and definitely built for scooters.
Yeah.
And like the beach is built for surfing. And I remember this was kind of discouraging because I felt like all we were doing during a month was just like eating at a few places a day.
Yeah.
And I tried surfing, which I like had a really bad experience with. I'm not going to get into that today towards the end, but it was also really fun to learn how to surf. So I like the beach more for that reason. And I learned to ride a scooter, which is like a fun activity within itself.
Yeah.
And are you okay with getting a little bit vulnerable on camera, Vanessa? Or in audio? Because there's like a particular memory that comes to mind.
What?
I remember as when I was starting to learn how to like surf a bit, I was starting to learn how to use a scooter. I went to surf in the morning with like a lesson, and I rode the scooter there, and I felt like the wind. It felt really nice, and the streets were quiet. And then I surfed. I was like, I got in the water, had a good time. Didn't have that terrible experience yet that I was mentioning earlier. And I showered off, so I was still a little bit wet. And I hopped back on the scooter, drove back home. And I felt like the wind against my body while it's a little bit wet, drying. And I was like, this is Bali. I feel Bali. Like, I mean, I'm feeling an emotional connection to this place. I feel like I'm like living kind of like the lifestyle people live in Canggu. I feel like I was having these great new experiences and memories. And I told this to Vanessa, and you get really emotional and cried.
I did?
Because you weren't having that same experience. You weren't having this connection and this like Bali experience, so you felt left out.
Yeah, I felt like there wasn't really a ton for me to do there except for like
Eat.
If I wanted like a massage or like a facial or something. I wasn't riding the scooter because I didn't feel that it was the best idea. So I kind of panicked, and the traffic there is insane. So I didn't get that experience, just like on the back of it. And then surfing, I don't like water you can't see the floor of. Yeah. So I didn't surf either. So it kind of just felt like I wasn't really doing anything. I was just eating.
Yeah, so. And we were going to gain weight if we weren't careful, because we weren't walking around that much. We're eating a lot of food, because the food it's not like super cheap, but stuff you can get like pretty. You go to the Warrooms, which are like the local like buffet kind of places.
I think most meals were maybe like $10 to $15 for both of us.
Yeah, which is still a really good deal.
Yeah,
but
we did end up going to like yoga classes. They're freaking hard,
and they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, they're more expensive than like when we were doing it in like Denver, Colorado, which was interesting. But yeah, it really felt like I was living normal life in Bali. But yeah, not the normal life we wanted exactly. Yeah, not like adventurous normal life. It was just kind of like, oh, I left the Airbnb once to go get food, and that's it. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of on me, because I probably should have like put more research into finding things that I could do. But
we did find some stuff later too.
Yeah, but it also felt like if you didn't ride a scooter, like you couldn't do as much. I guess. Yeah, unless you're or you got to walk pretty far. But then with the walking, there's not always roads or streets. I meant. Yeah, and there's not really any like parks to like walk around in, like a Canggu, or a lot of parts of Bali in general doesn't really have any like parks, so it's harder to like have some areas of nature. We found some like really nice gems, which maybe we'll cover like more detail if we ever do like more Bali related podcasts. That really made it like more doable. Like those really pretty rice fields to walk around. That had like the pretty walking area. Yeah, that was really pretty. Which I think that a good save. I realized that like something was lacking when we went to Uluwatu. Yes. Because when we went there, I was like, oh crap, like this is what the beaches like could look like here, or like should look like. Because I got into the water there, and it was like really stunning and gorgeous, and then I kind of felt like I was like missing out. Yeah. No, I agree. Uluwatu had like that picturesque Bali beach area that like we wanted and craved, and then some. So that was a really gorgeous day trip, and so Canggu, to summarize, I think it's really good for people that like want to just go somewhere to work, have like lots of good food, because the food was really delicious in Canggu. I enjoyed a lot of it. Beautiful, like trendy cafes. If you want to surf regularly, it's a great place to do that because it's cheap to do it as well. And if you want to just do like activities and try and get in like an expat community while you're working, it's a great place. If you're there to adventure, have experiences and memories and trips and like traveling sort of things, I don't think it's the best place for you in Bali by any sense of the word. I think that we're just like there too long. Yeah, if we were there maybe like a couple days, even like a week, it would have been fine. But we were there for a month. It would have been a good little break. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for Canggu. So this is our final destination that we're going to talk about for the unpopular travel opinions, and this is going to be Singapore. And Vanessa, what is like the misconception online or just in general about Singapore? So a lot of people say that Singapore is very expensive. Yeah. So. Yep, it's a Southeast Asian country. It's just south of Malaysia. It's a extremely tiny country with these beautiful like tall buildings and like attractions. And yeah, people generally think, oh my god, you went to Singapore. That must have been really expensive. Yeah. Or that must be a really expensive trip. How can you afford to go there?
I don't think it's as expensive as people make it out to be. I think it could actually be like a budget travel destination place. I really do.
Yeah.
And there's a few reasons of that. One is the metro and transportation, getting around the city in general.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
It was cheap.
It was cheap. All right, moving on. No. For a lot of countries we travel to, there's like a different kind of ways you can get from the airport to the city. I love places where you can take the metro because it's usually like a cheap option. It's what the locals do. But a lot of places, it can be like $10 one way. Like in places in Europe, that's the case. In Japan and Korea, it's probably... Korea wasn't that bad.
No,
I don't think Japan was that bad either, but it's still like closer to $10 than like $5, I think.
Kuala Lumpur, wasn't it like 16?
Oh, it's 16, yeah. And that's Kuala Lumpur, which is just in north.
Yeah.
Which they had a special sort of train to do it. That's probably why. But they have like a local metro line in Singapore, which takes you from, I think it's the Changi Rai Airport, I think's the name of it.
I don't know.
I could be confusing it with Bali's. To the actual like city center. And I think it was $1 or $2.
I think it was like $2.
Yeah, like
really
$1
cheap.
to $2, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So when we got to Kuala Lumpur, I was like,
Oh.
16 per person? What the heck?
Yeah, which it's fair. It's a lot cheaper than taking a taxi, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For these places, but that was like a really that was like our first impression.
It was nice too. It was clean. It like
Air conditioned.
I think it said like no talking.
Yes, quiet.
It was quiet.
People don't eat or drink on the subways to keep them like clean.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is like one of our first expenses we made in Singapore because of course you got to get from the airport to the actual like city. So we're like, whoa, like that was super cheap.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. And another big expense everyone has to pay for when traveling is food.
Yeah.
And I don't think any meal we had was expensive.
I don't think so. I think maybe that one restaurant we went to,
Whole Earth,
was probably the most expensive.
Yeah, but online,
But I don't remember it being too bad.
Yeah, online it said like, oh, this is like not fine dining, but like finer dining.
Yeah.
And like really like reputable restaurant with really good quality like food. I still think our meal was like less than $40 for both of us, which in America that's like a really good affordable meal.
Yeah.
For our dining out at a decent place.
Yeah.
But besides that, there are things called hawker centers. And Vanessa, what is a hawker center?
A hawker center is like a... Let me just pull up my... No, kidding. It's like a... Kind of like a cafeteria.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. Or like a food court at like the mall or something, but without the mall. So it's just like a food court.
No, you're right, but it has a cafeteria kind of feeling. Like,
yeah.
But like a food court, yeah.
Yeah.
So. And
so lots of different options, some different foods, and they're all very, very affordable.
Yeah. Most neighborhoods have hawker centers, multiple. Locals eat there. Tourists do too, of course. And yeah, they have a wide variety of cuisine. They have like Chinese, Indian, because Singapore is very diverse. It has a combination of like Southeast Asian, East Asian, Indian, like some people, like Malay, which I guess is Southeast Asian too, like some Muslim majority, or not majority, but anyways, it's like a melting pot of like all these people from these different cultures surrounding. So they have lots of different cuisine.
There's even, wasn't there a Mexican restaurant there?
In a hawker center?
Yeah.
Maybe, it's possible.
But it was closed, because we went there really early in the morning.
Yeah.
But...
And then they have lots of like drink stands there too. You can get like some little bakeries there. It has everything. And because it's made for the locals and these people like they just whip out the food quick and like to the masses, you can get like a good plate of food for like, I want to say like $3 to $4 easily. Yeah. Easily. Like that, I'm overestimating, so I'm not lying to you. And you can do this. They're all over the place. Super convenient, super quick. Is it going to be like the highest potential quality food? Maybe not.
But it's going to be good.
It's going to be good. It's going to be tasty. It's not always going to taste like extremely like warm, to be honest. Like I've never had some samosas that were good, but I'm like, yeah, it's not piping hot.
They were fine. You just like things that are going to burn your mouth. Like even with his coffee, he's like, if it's not going to burn my mouth, I don't want it.
Yep, true.
So it was just warm. It was fine.
True. So anyways, those two things, let alone getting around is super cheap. Eating can be really cheap. And it's a fun experience. I would go to hawker center anytime I went just because it's a really fun, unique experience. You can try a little bit of this and that. You can sit with like some other people maybe. And it just, it feels like really culturally interesting. Besides that, I do have to admit that combination might not always be the cheapest, especially compared to other countries in Southeast Asia. Yeah. But you can find like a really good like private room hostel for like probably $100 or a little bit less a night.
Yeah, what was it called?
I don't remember the name. It was near Chinatown, so it was a really good location.
And right everything was very like, it was clean, it was modern. Yeah. It's a tiny room, but it comes with like the bed, obviously, a TV, a desk, and then you just share the bathroom part.
Yeah, like with the floor.
Yeah.
But they're like individual stalls, so there's good privacy with
Yeah.
that. You just have to go leave your room to shower.
Yeah. And you're going to take like 5 showers a day because it's so freaking hot there.
Yeah.
But, no, it was like $100 for a night, which for something that's like not a private bathroom, that might be expensive, but.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to pay on accommodation, and I really don't think it's that big of an expense. Because you're going to be like outside your apartment most of the time anyways, exploring.
You're just going to be there to crash at the end of the night.
And lots of things to do there and see are like free. Like you can go to the airport, or the like. Well,
yeah, just walk around the airport.
Yeah. Well, there's a really pretty extension to the airport, which is really cool. It has like a waterfall in the middle of it.
Called, though?
Jewel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's really beautiful. Definitely do that. Whether you have a layover or I'd make time for it because it's a really cool, unique experience. All the neighborhoods, they have like temples which you can visit, which are for free. And that's a really cool, unique experience too. There are some of like the areas in the gardens by the bay, which you have to pay some money to get into. That's like $20 per person for like a couple attractions. So it's not cheap.
But you don't have to pay. You could just explore there.
There's some free areas you can explore, but just for some certain attractions, like Cloud Gate, which is this or Cloud Forest, which is this Cloud Gate's the bean.
I know. I was like, why does that sound
in Chicago?
That's funny.
Been to too many places, guys. They're all starting to mix together in my head. Not trying to brag. Flexing.
No, he just has a bad memory.
Yeah, true.
With me.
So anyway, I really think Singapore can be a really affordable, even a budget destination, if you do these things and take our advice, as you always should, because we know everything, guys. No, we don't. Of course. Let us know in your comments below if you agree or disagree with our experiences, because this is all based on our experiences too. Yeah. Maybe you had a different experience. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah. Speaking
about things that you might have a different opinion about, that we would love to hear from you guys as well, these takes are going to get really spicy. Because
stop saying that.
Or controversial.
You're like, they're spicy. We're gonna argue, and then we don't.
No. Okay. So recently, I'm prefacing this. Recently on social media, I've been seeing a lot of hype, and not just like on social media, just in general culturally, going around one country in East Asia that has kind of like, in my opinion, overtaken Japan as being like the biggest cultural influence on like America nowadays, and that's South Korea. Now, South Korea is really popular for it. It's like K-dramas, K-pop. It's everywhere now. Skincare, beauty, and its food is becoming increasingly more popular too. Whereas before, everyone knows like sushi from Japan. Everyone knows ramen from Japan. But now people know like bulgogi is getting really popular. Bibimbap's getting really popular. Anything else I'm forgetting? Oh, Korean barbecue is becoming really popular nowadays. I think it's becoming.
Oh no, I'm trying to think of
fried chicken. There's.
What?
People in Korea love fried chicken. If there's any Koreans watching, you know. Remember in Crash Landing on You? They would always like get fried chicken together. It's like, we made it, guys. But
that's funny.
I think Korean food is overrated. I don't think it is as good as any other Asian food I've had.
I agree.
Yeah, she feels even more than me. But I definitely want to preface this by saying I still think Korean food is really good. I've had it multiple times, like in the United States. Well, I've had it like a couple times in the United States, and we had a lot of it in Korea because we want to try as much of it as possible. When we travel, we want to actually try like the local food, you know. But compared to all the other countries you visited during our like 4 months in Asia at that time, I think it probably ranked the lowest for us. And
yeah, I think so. When I think of my favorite meal in Korea, it was not Korean. But I really like the idea of Korean food. Like, I like the presentation.
Yeah.
I like...
Talk about the presentation a little bit.
You put me on the spot. What was that one meal that we got where it came out in a whole bunch of different little small plates?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the restaurant right now, but it was one in this restaurant called Insadong. And there's a whole like culture behind it. There's like a word they call it for all the little side dishes.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a really cool idea.
It is really cool. And like, I like the variety and...
Yeah, they bring you like a multiple like of pickled vegetables, a little bit this.
Why
and that.
don't you tell it?
No. I just you're glossing over these things, and I just like really want to like paint a picture for people, so they know what we're referring to. But.
Okay.
Intermission's over.
But I wasn't like crazy about a lot of it, like the taste of it. It was just not. I don't know, like. Some of it was good, but some of it, it fell a little flat, I think.
I know what you're saying.
Or it just wasn't like my style of food, maybe? Like the, what was the meal where they put the ice cube? It was like noodles.
That shit was foul.
And they put an ice cube in it, so it was cold noodles.
And it was horseradish in the sauce.
On top of it.
Yeah. So.
And it was just, that was like the first thing, the only thing that I like could not even finish.
I think that's the worst thing I think that and baba from Naples. Yeah. I think those are both like the two most foul things I've ever had in my not my life, but while traveling.
But I loved the presentation. It was so pretty, and it was just so like, I felt like it was like a very cultural meal.
Yeah, I feel like
more traditional, and like the setting of like sitting on the what?
I feel like it's the longest I've went without talking on the podcast, but can we go?
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just laughing because I'm like, I'm happy.
I feel like I'm struggling right
now. You're doing good. You're doing good.
To like express this, and you're not helping me.
Nah, guys, Vanessa's doing great. Please let her know in the comments.
No. Okay.
So yeah, I agree. If I had to describe like the kind of like flavor profile and main like qualities of Korean food, for the most part, there's diversity there, but it's mostly like simple. Like there's obviously a lot of rice because it's like Asian food, and it's like little subtle flavors. Like a lot of the vegetables are pickled, which has like nice flavor. They use like vinegar and stuff to add some flavor to a lot of the things. They use gochujang, which is really delicious as well. Which is, if you don't know, it's like based off of like a hot pepper, and it's like a thicker sort of like paste kind of sauce that they use for different like flavorings and stuff. I think it's really good. There were some Korean foods that I really loved. Mm-hmm. I really liked bindatok, which is the mung bean pancakes, which you had from the Gwangjong market, which is that market in itself is an amazing experience.
Yes.
It's like, it's becoming more popular with tourists. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of it on like YouTube and TikTok and stuff.
So freaking crowded.
So busy. So many counters, but really good food, really good prices. Lots of locals there too. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that. One of our favorite things, like period, like we've had through traveling is hot dog.
Yes.
Yeah, which
I love hot dog. It's so good.
Yeah.
I could have that every day. I wish that I could find that here, honestly.
Yeah, which if you don't know, it's kind of like a fried pancake, but inside it's stuffed with sugar and brown sugar and cinnamon, sometimes like nuts and stuff. But it's like
nuts.
Sometimes they put like chopped nuts in there. And because it's pan fried, all of it like melts, and it's just like delicious like sticky syrup inside of it.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
It's so good. My mouth is watering. Also, they had kimchi dumplings.
Those were fantastic.
Those are really, really good. I did not like tteokbokki or something like that.
Tteokbokki, yeah, you didn't. Those are like rice cakes. It's really popular in Korea. It's a really popular street food where it's these like little rice cakes that are little like cylinders, and they're in like a gochujang kind of like sauce.
But it is really popular. Mm-hmm. But I just did not care for them.
We had them in the United States, and they're actually better. Remember?
Yes,
just to be honest, but
only slightly. I still didn't really prefer it there.
Yeah. We also had bibimbap, and that was really nice. Remember that lady came and she showed us how to make it?
She was so nice, yes.
And it was just like, it was fresh, and
that
it's
was
like,
really, yeah.
It was like, a lot of meals in Korea, I'm like, that was nice. But it wasn't like, oh my god, I'm going to dream about that meal. To be honest, that's like the level it was for some foods.
And we're vegan, so we didn't obviously try like Korean barbecue, which I think is like very, very popular. Yeah,
it's a really fun, seems to be a really fun dining experience too. Like cook your food together over a grill, have some beers, some somek.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and we also tried bulgogi, which is the vegan version, which is kind of like their, it's like a kind of beef, but it's like longer like cuts. I had it at Osegehong. That's the restaurant that had the kimchi dumplings. And the sambap which is another thing where they had these like sort of meats that you wrap with like lettuce and you dip it.
I love that.
That was delicious.
That was really good.
Yeah. So when we say like Korean food's overrated and it was at least favorite, we still really enjoyed a lot of it. And loved like a lot of it. Really good meals, really fun experiences, but
I'm not like dying to find a Korean place here.
I would love to find a Korean place here. But yeah, when I think of it compared to food in Singapore, food in Malaysia, food in, sorry guys, Japan, and like Bali, Thailand, even like Chinese food, I just think Korean's food just a little bit below, to be honest, if I'm just being objective. So, sorry everybody, that is our unpopular take on Korean food. It's not our favorite, but we still really love it and enjoy it. I
really love the experience of it.
Yeah, I know. Like, we don't need to sugarcoat it. You know our feelings.
Yeah.
This isn't like Korean food sucks, but speaking about another thing that we definitely disagree on, and we talked about it a good amount in the last podcast, on our Greek versus Italy food, which if you love these food discussions, we talk about food a lot, so check that out. And this is going to be the birthplace of pizza, somewhere everyone must dream of going because you can only fathom how good could pizza be in Italy. The birthplace of pizza, specifically in Naples, where they made the Neapolitan pizza and Vanessa.
You're just hyping it up to make me sound bad.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing. Because last episode she said she was ready to throw her head against the wall.
No, I said the pizza against the wall.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. You're ready to throw the pizza against the wall for the 10th time after the 10th time of having it. So anyway, I've said enough.
I mean, I don't know. You really could have 10 pizzas in a row and be like, oh, it's so good.
Yes.
He's lying.
I mean, I love diverse foods, but sometimes like when I really like something, I can have it every day. I love trying more things, but I definitely still could if I
think I stated my opinion in the last podcast when we talked about this.
Yeah, you did. So, yeah, long story short, Vanessa got a little sick of it, especially because it was mostly like marinara pizza.
Yeah.
But they're really good. I think they're delicious. I think they totally meet the hype. I could eat them every day. And they're really good price as well. You can get like a massive full Neapolitan pizza in Naples for like $3.
Yeah.
$3 to $5.
€3.
Yeah, €3 to €5, €3 to €6.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit more, but generally that's the price you can get. These things are massive. You can definitely like be full.
But sometimes the size of them is like what
wears you out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's literally like this big.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to cut it in half and then like start on one side. By the time you get to the other side, it's cold.
Yeah.
And like a little bit soggy too, because the tomato sauce kind of like went into the bread.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
Well,
the first time I had it, I was like, oh wow, like you could really tell, like, oh, these are very fresh ingredients. This is great. This is yummy. But after the 10th time, like it's just not. I'm good. I was good probably after like the 3rd time, but no, I just kept wanting to go get more.
Well, because the birthplace of pizza, I don't think you could have them to that like level. Like we had a pizza like that in Capri because that was the only vegan thing we could find when we were in Capri, and it did not compare at all to the ones in Naples.
No, it wasn't Capri, was it?
Yeah, it was Capri. I remember.
I thought didn't we get pizza in Rome?
We had a Roman style pizza, which is a whole different animal. It has like that crackery sort of crust, you know.
I like that one.
More than Naples.
I mean, after I had that type of pizza, like the Roman,
it was a nice change of pace. Yeah.
10 times, I probably would feel the same way, you know.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Roman pizza, but enough pizza talk. You guys get the gist. I think it's amazing. She's a little sick of it. I could have it every day. I think it meets the hype. Vanessa thinks it's not quite meeting the hype. For vegans, when you have to have the same kind of marinara pizza every time, I get that. Just a little bit unpopular, I guess. And lastly, this is something that I don't know. Maybe the online like consensus is changing a little bit. And I certainly aim to like change this preconceived notion. I'm using lots of words, you guys. What do you think about my vocabulary? I'm not kidding. Anyway, I can't spit it out in a more coherent way. The unpopular opinion that we hold is that it is easy to travel the world as vegans. And I never, actually it's a very small disclaimer, and I'll elaborate a little bit, feel like I'm missing out when I'm traveling as a vegan. For multiple reasons. What is your take on it? I think we'll have another episode going more into detail about this, but...
Yeah. No, I agree. I think when we first, like, decide on a destination, we're like, okay, how vegan-friendly is it? Mm-hmm. And every single time we're like, oh, okay, like, we're, like, pleasantly surprised. Like, there's always somewhere that we can find. I don't think we've ever really have missed out, even, on, like, traditional food wherever we travel to either.
Yeah,
there's a lot of places, they try to recreate it in a vegan way. It might not be, like, the most accurate.
Or 100% like for like.
And we can't, like, compare it.
Yeah, true.
But it's all really good.
Yeah, and obviously we've been to places that are very vegan friendly. Like Bali. A lot of places in Bali are very vegan friendly. Yeah. Tulum's very vegan friendly.
Oh, yeah. I think the hardest place was Korea.
Yeah. Like,
and it wasn't that there was a lack of, like, restaurants. It's just that where we decided to stay... There was a lack there.
Yeah.
So if we would have picked a different neighborhood to stay in, we would have been fine.
Yeah, definitely. Because Japan and Korea, like online, the conception is, but not conception. The opinion is that they're not vegan friendly at all. I'm like, oh my god, you guys are going to be like starving every day. No. Mm-hmm. Nowhere it's been like that. Of course, you do have to do a little bit more research.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I said we don't feel like we're missing out on anything, that's not exactly true. Because I think one of my favorite things about travel is like spontaneity. Yeah. And just going in and like, as vegans, when there's a language barrier and you're not exactly sure if a thing's going to be vegan, you can't just necessarily see a really pretty place and be like, we're just going to go in there and like whatever we get, we're going to get. It's going to be like a fun story.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit more diligent than that.
I do think that we could have been like that with like a lot of countries except for Korea. We could have been spontaneous.
Because of the language barrier.
Because the language barrier.
A lot of things aren't coincidentally vegan there.
Yes. And then just like getting to the area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we probably could have gotten like drinks or something. Japan, it wasn't as hard because no one could speak Japanese, so he was able to ask. So that made it a lot easier for us. But if you don't speak any Japanese, I think it would be harder. Oops, I keep looking at the wrong thing.
It's okay. They can't tell. But yeah, so long story short on that, and again, I really wanted to talk about that topic in more detail because we love talking about food and we have lots of opinions on vegan travel. As you guys know, maybe you've checked out my videos. And yeah, I just think it's really easy to travel the world as a vegan and not miss out on authentic foods. Because we don't want to travel somewhere and just get a veggie burger. We want to try the real cuisine. Otherwise, why go to a new place if you're not going to like try new things, you know? Mm-hmm. So we definitely will have many more unpopular travel opinions. And then also we're going to come out with an episode about travel things that are actually true. Where like the online opinions, we actually like agree with them. And we think that's actually an accurate thing that our own experience is aligned with. So what do you guys think? Are there any takes that you think that we're BSing on or we're way removed from reality? Please let us know in the comments below. And anything else, Vanessa?
You forgot one.
What's that?
I wanted to talk about going to Asia as a brown person.
Yeah.
So
future episode.
I was really nervous.
It's future
episode?
Yeah. Because that's a separate topic, I think. Because
I don't think I could do a whole podcast on that.
Well, maybe we can put it in with some other ones.
I'm feeling discriminated against right now.
You can do doing a podcast as a brown person. How about that?
Yeah.
He never lets me talk. He always shoots down my
white
ideas.
man.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, anyway, that's all for this, guys. Thanks for listening or watching, and I'll see you in the next installment and episode. See you next time. Peace.
Why did you not tell me that?